Even though I really love that our movement is really focused on using what we have already, I know that there's sometimes where we want to be able to invest in sustainable things, and it's hard to know sometimes of like what is worth the money, you know? Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel, or this is the first time, welcome. So I'm actually really excited today. I'm gonna do something new that I haven't really done on this channel. I know I've done like different sustainable product reviews. I'm gonna put a little tier list together, basically ranking some sustainable products, because I have been a sustainable influencer full-time since 2020. And I've been interested in the sustainability movement since 2016, which if you have been around since that time, it was the height of the zero waste movement during that time. And I have definitely tried a lot of sustainable products between then and now, both gifted and bought. And I thought today I would start off with products that like you would go see when you walk into your typical zero waste store or see your typical zero waste site. And these products, some of these are from specific brands, some of them aren't, and none of these are sponsored. So let's get into it. Okay, so I think we definitely need to first start off with the classic mason jar. Like I said, I feel like this really had like highlighted the peak zero waste movement. Everyone and their mother was rocking around with the mason jar. It became a status symbol of sorts, which I think really did harm towards the mason jar community. Not mason jar community, what am I trying to say? Towards mason jars themselves, because I think mason jars are actually really helpful. I think though, like with anything, they just became like overly mass produced and people did start forgetting that they could just use what they have. But I know for me, mason jars just make my life so much easier. I had to get rid of a ton of them when I moved across the country because I couldn't hold my mason jars that I collected from various like sauce jars, peanut butter jars, etc. So I'm currently like, you know, recollecting them now. But being able to just have like some giant jars to like hold some more bulk things for me is really worth it, I would say. But to buy this mason jar new, I would put it in the maybe worth it section. I think you could thrift these, you could reuse things instead. Even though like places like Goodwill can like charge like $3 for like a mason jar, which is ridiculous. But I think it's really worth it if you need one. And then next we have the bamboo cutlery, which I feel like for this, honestly, they just really annoy me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna already throw it into the not worth it section. And here's my reasoning. Yes, it's as useful as like things like mason jars and stuff like that, but I just feel like the cutlery itself, you can easily just grab the utensils that you have and wrap them in a napkin and bring it with you. I actually thrift most of my cutlery that I already have. The bamboo, I feel like over time too, it's just like, it's really gross to use. I guess if it's like a stainless steel, it would be worth it, but I feel like the bamboo reusable just really grosses me out, and I just don't think it's worth the time or money. I'm sorry. I know these are ones that people are put onto, but these natural loofah bars, oh my god, god tier. I need it for life. It is so freaking good. I know that everybody out there uses a scrub while they're in the shower, which I think everybody needs to. If you don't, I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but if you want to, nice smooth skin. This natural loofah is fantastic. Growing up, I used to go to the dollar store and use like these like plastic loofahs to like get my skin, because my mom was very on top of us, like make sure that we're like really scrubbing our skin in the shower, and this thing feels exactly like that. I'm obsessed with those. Obsessed. Okay, then next we have reusable bags. Specifically, I'm gonna talk about Baggu bags because I gotta say, I really do like Baggu. I have a few of them and I love them, and honestly, I think that they're really worth it. I'm gonna put it in the worth it section. I'm gonna put it in the worth it section because I think reusable bags in general, again with like mason jars and all the other basics, they are so helpful. That's what made them so popular in the first place. And I think specifically with Baggu, what I like about them is that all their products are made from like recycled nylon, which is good, so it's not new plastic, but they're so sturdy. Like I remember earlier on, once the tote bag phase became really popular, I was being handed like a cotton tote bag like left and right, which cotton's nice because, you know, it's a more natural material, but also I feel like, one, it's been over harvested, and that's a whole other conversation itself, And 2, I just feel like they didn't hold up to the same weight as like my Baggoos, where I've had Baggoos since the beginning of the sustainability movement, for not the beginning of sustainability movement because that's longer, but like for me entering back in 2016, I have some from like 2017, 2018 that I'm like rocking nearly daily still. So I think it's worth it, but I don't think that it's something that everybody needs, and I don't think it's something that we need to like overproduce and overbuy. I don't know. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave it in the worth it section. I don't know. Personally, for me, personally, I think it's worth it. Next, we have the mesh bags. I feel like for me, I'm gonna put it in the maybe worth it section. Maybe if, okay, going back to the Baggoo, I feel like the Baggoo, I would have put it in the worth it section, maybe worth it section, if it was like also a cotton tote bag, because I feel like this reusable mesh bag has also been something that's like heavily distributed, that I think there's way too many. And I know I've been gifted too many, not just by brands, but like by family and friends and going to party. Like there's just too many mesh bags that go around. I don't really think that we need them. Honestly, I could probably just like regift them to as many people as I can. And also I kind of like, when I go to the stores, this might be gross, but I kind of just like put the fruits and veggies into my carts anyway, because I'm like YOLO, and I clean them when I get home anyway. So I don't really think it's something I definitely need, but I think it could be worth it. Especially if you are buying like loads of groceries at once. It's not my vibe. I don't know. They just annoy me. That's the ending reasoning I have. They just annoy me. Don't ask any other questions because I'm done. Okay. Dryer wool balls. These, I'm gonna put in the kind of worth it. I'm almost gonna put in the not worth it section, because I have those balls. I've had those balls. I think I got rid of them actually. I gave it to a friend because I don't use them. I don't feel like I really like need to. I've gone so long without like using them. Sorry, I'm putting it into the not worth it section. I just feel like for me, I don't really see the reason to have them. I know that they're supposed to replace dryer sheets, but I went so long not using dryer sheets and not using the wool balls that I feel like I don't really notice a difference from when I was. Apparently the wool balls are supposed to help like reduce drying time, but I feel like since I split up my drying to be half in the dryer and then half like hung up, I try to hang up as many clothes as I can, so my dryer time tends to be like smaller. So I feel like I don't really even like need those, and it wouldn't really come across my mind anymore to like ever put it on a shopping list for myself, if that makes sense. Okay, so next we have the stainless steel straws with the silicone tips. Ugh, I hate them. I hate them so much. And let me just say, I have a couple opinions on straws. They're coming up. The stainless steel ones just really stress me, especially when they have a bend, because I feel like I can't see if I'm properly cleaning them or not. And I had a situation where I thought it was clean and it wasn't clean, and I sucked up something once and it was so gross and I hated it. And especially with the squishy silicone tip, I don't know, it just feels like it's not being properly clean. I know everybody's very particular about the straws, but that one's just not for me. And because everyone's particular about the straws, I'm gonna go ahead to the next one, which is glass straws, which I'm throwing it all the way up to Need It for Life. I love my glass straws. Once again, one, I love that I can see through it and see if I'm actually cleaning it properly. Two, they just look really pretty. I love it. There's so many fun glass colored straws on the market. And also just the fact, like, I kind of like the sensation of them. I don't know. I know for some people, they're worried about like breaking it because it's glass. I've never had that problem, and I've had these same pack of straws that I have now since 2018, and they've never been a problem for me. I need to have my straws for life. Also the fact that like just drinking out of straws, like honestly helps me drink more water throughout my day, or like chug a smoothie faster or whatever. Like it's just good for me. Like I need that for life. And what I also need for life, which taking back some of the things I said about stainless steel straws, or actually I'm not gonna put need it for life. I'm gonna put in the worth it section. These boba straws, They're stainless steel boba straws. I feel like what's different about these stainless steel ones is that they're wide and they also don't like have it, like they don't curve. So nothing's really getting stuck and you could clearly like see through it if it's like gross. But when I went through my boba binger when I lived in San Diego, I don't get boba as much here in New York, surprisingly. But when I was like in San Diego, I would like 2 to 3 times a week go to the boba shop. And unfortunately, you can't get boba in a reusable cup, but you could get a reusable straw and, you know, cut down a little bit of plastic in that way. I also used it for like thicker milkshakes at home or smoothies and stuff like that. I think it's really worth it to invest if you're someone who, I'll put in the maybe worth it. No, worth it. I think it's worth it. I guess I'm like kind of in between now, because if you're not someone who drinks boba or thick smoothies, it wouldn't be worth it for you. But if you're someone like me who's like a fiend for all those things, it's definitely worth it. I'll put in the maybe worth it. It got demoted. Sorry about that. Menstrual cups. I love my menstrual cup. Need it for life. I love it. I've had this exact one too. This is specifically from Dot Cup, so I can't speak for all menstrual cups because I know menstrual cups vary from brand to brand. This one from Dot Cup has been the first one I've ever used and is still the only one that I use because it's just worked really amazing for me. Maybe in another video, if I talk more about like menstrual products and ranking them, let me know. I could go into more detail about this one, but overall, this has like, it's supposed to last me for 10 years. I've been like 4 years into it. I love it so much. I love not having to think about my period. I love how easy it is. I know for some people too, like it can, like, everybody's bodies are different, so they respond differently. But if you're someone whose bodies work, like this works for your body, but the process of getting like used to using one of these, 1000% worth the investment. 1000%. It's supposed to last you for 10 years, guys. That's amazing. I love it. So good. And then next we have the over-the-counter compost bucket. I'm gonna put it in the kind of worth it. I feel like for me, for composting, for me, I prefer to just put everything into like a stainless steel like bucket, a stainless steel bucket into my freezer, and then I just like leave the scraps there and then take it to my local compost site. But I know for some other people, they may not have the space for that, or maybe they just need a visual reminder that they need to compost. So I feel like it's kind of worth it, like having like a visual reminder, but I don't think it's worth it if you don't have a place to take your compost afterwards. Because for me, I remember I invested in one thinking for some reason that like that was a way to compost, was like to throw all my scraps in there and magically it would like turn into something new, which I know sounds really silly, but I feel like there's probably a lot of people out there who were like me, who were like, maybe if I just throw it in there magically in a couple days, it's gonna turn to dirt. It's not how it works. You need to actually have like a place to take your scraps later. So I think it could be worth it if you have the infrastructure to like actually take your scraps to be composted somewhere. If not, not worth it, babes. Sorry. And then next are reusable cups. I think they're really worth it. I have this one specifically from Stojo. I love the collapsible mug. I also have like some other ones that I've like thrifted over time or like collected over time. I love my reusable mugs. But again, I think it's something that like you could thrift really easy or use a mason jar or something like that instead. But I think having like a really nice like little like cute cup helps you remember more to bring it out and about. Also, I think sometimes too, if you invest too nicely into something like this, you might lose it and you might be really sad. So there's that. But I definitely think it's still worth it though. I wanted to like this so badly. I really wanted to like this. But it's in the not worth it pile. This reusable cotton swab was supposed to help me get off my cotton swab ear kick, you know, because it's supposed to be really bad for you, like using Q-tips, but I love to do it. And then I was like, if I'm gonna keep doing this anyway, might as well get a reusable one. And this one specifically is for earwax, but it just doesn't hit right. It just feels so gross. Like the wax, you can like, I don't know, it's really worth it. I prefer Q-tips that are made from like bamboo wood and then also like cotton tips. Like those are like what I prefer to use if I'm able to like splurge on something like that. But yeah, I just don't think the reusable one was worth it. Not the vibes. This wooden dishwash brush, I think it's really worth it. I really like it a lot. I actually need to buy another one. I think that these work really well. I know that when I lived in San Diego, I used to have one of these and would rotate out of them like every so often. And I feel like they really scrub like really nicely. And the fact that most of them have like a detachable head like this and you're able to switch them out is like very, very nice. And I like these more in comparison to like natural sponges. I know we've been trying to try out some natural sponges, but it's not the same. And then last but not least are these little toothy tabs. These ones are specifically from Bites. I think they're kind of worth it. They're not my personal favorite. Like I went through a lot of like solid top toothpaste to finally find one that I really liked, and Bite was the only one that I really liked. They're not my favorite thing I would actually want to use like daily. Like I wouldn't use a toothy tab daily because it just like felt like it dried out my mouth. I just like hate the feeling of it. But I think it's really nice when I'm traveling. So I feel like if you're a traveler, it can be really nice because they're super compact, and then also you don't have to worry about like the whole, like if the toothpaste is too big or whatever to like fly on airplanes or anything like that. Like I think then that's really nice, but I don't know. I just prefer other more natural toothpaste that's like comes from a nice tube. Like David's toothpaste, it's like an aluminum tube. That's really nice. So yeah, those are my personal ratings of what I think is worth and not worth it from these basic sustainable products. I hope that this is helpful. And again, these are just like my personal reviews on these things. People have different experiences or different needs. I have some other ideas for the series if you want to see some. I do hair care, makeup, food, bathroom stuff, weird things, because there's some funky stuff out there on the market. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.